Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Insight. Today, it's all about building a supportive leadership network. That's right. We are going to talk about it. It does not matter how old you are, whether you are in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Listen, you can still, and I don't understand. Many of you believe no matter where you are, let's just say you're in your 30s, like you can't get friends. If you didn't get them in college, it does not mean that you still can't make them. If you're in your 40s and you don't necessarily have lots of friends, it doesn't mean that you cannot still gain that. And that's what we're going to be talking about, supportive leadership networks. You need them. You cannot do this. Maybe it depends on what field you're in, but in leadership, I don't know one leader that can just stand up and say, "Oh, I got to where I was without a supportive network of some kind." I'm just telling the truth. You need networks, people, and there are ways to do it. And I understand for my introverts out there, I have lost you. Let me tell you, this is how I classify myself. I am an introvert that just knows how to operate in an extrovert world. And I know some of you will be like, oh my gosh, she cannot be an introvert. I gain my energy from being in solitude. I like myself. So it could be me, myself, and any day, honey. In the day. Listen, my husband will tell you, yes, my baby needs her time to herself. I gain energy and support when I am in quiet, when I'm more in an isolated state. It is not for me about being the loudest, the biggest in the room. Because if you see me in the room, now if I'm on a stage, you're going to say, okay, she can't be. And I get it because you're looking at it from one perspective. But in my day to day, I don't have to be the loudest in the room. If you're an extrovert, go on, do you, boo, do you. Get that energy how you get it. It's just not how I get it. So when I say building leadership networks, I know introverts out there, I'm right there with you. Stick with me. You can do it. I've done it. You can do it too. Okay. Just know this process isn't always an overnight. It's not always a quick fix. And you all stop wanting quick fix. Stop wanting microwaves. I'm just saying sometimes who cooks a Wellington in a microwave? Okay, I'm not saying maybe y'all reheat it, I don't know. But you don't make a Wellington in a microwave, people. You make it. Now, if you're a cook, you're gonna be like, you're making love to the Wellington, but you're gonna put that sucker in the oven, okay? You're not gonna put it in the microwave. Stop wanting microwave mentality. Some things take a while, and when you take that time, it's so worth it. A cake from scratch. I'm not knocking a store-bought. I'm not a store-bought. I'm not knocking a box cake, but a cake from scratch, baby. And when it's done well, it's done well. And so stop wanting these things to happen overnight. Understand, even when we're talking about leadership, when we're talking about networks, it takes time. And I need you to have patience. Have patience. Now we are live. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. I know I'm already into leadership insight and probably have not read anything that's on my agenda yet. So no matter what career stage you're in, whether you're just stepping into leadership or you're ready to move to another level, you can't do this alone. Success is rarely a solo act. It's built on connections, relationships, mentorships, collaborations. And in today's world, a lot of times it's also with coaches out there. You can get a coach for so many different things. And when I speak about coaches, you all, can you get a certified coach? And I'm not knocking people. I'm not knocking people who are in their journey, in their coaching journey, but can they be credentialed? You all ask for the credentials, ask for them. Now, again, today we are talking about why building your leadership network is going to be so essential for you and what you need to keep in mind as you start to build. And then I also want you to be genuine and know that you can have supportive professional relationships. Now, last week, it was all about the importance of personal leadership. If you missed it, please go back and watch that. We focused on own your story and your power. And then we talked about setting clear goals and leading yourself towards them every day. Again, If you missed it, please make sure that you go back and watch that video because it's important that you understand that the first part of leadership is being able to lead yourself. And knowing the importance of personal leadership is a game changer. Now, back to building a supportive network. Today, we are focusing on learn to build relationships naturally without forcing it, and then nurture your network over time. Now, let's get into why building a supportive network matters. Leadership isn't just about what you know or how hard you work, it's also about who you know and who knows you. Having strong supportive network means you have people who can advocate for you when you're not in the room. They can help you problem solve through tough challenges, and they're able to open doors to new opportunities. They can keep you grounded and motivated when leadership gets hard, and trust and believe as much. And if you know me, you know leadership is my jam. It is my groove. I love every aspect of it. But I would be sitting here lying to you if I didn't say that leadership doesn't get hard. At times, it can get challenging. And there's something when you have people in a network. Leadership, you all, just in general, can be lonely at times. And so you overlook that part. And when you're the one that is only making decisions, setting up directions, managing others, you need a circle that you can trust, people that you can lean on, that you can brainstorm with, and that you can also learn from. And building that circle isn't a one-time event. It is an event that you need to cultivate over your career. It's a leadership skill that you grow over time, and it's not too late. It is not too late. And if you're serious about advancing your career, you must treat relationship building as a priority and not just an afterthought. What you need to know about building relationships. So, we're going to break this down into, again, those two key areas. And our first one is learn to build relationships naturally without forcing it. Please go ahead and take a screenshot if you would like. But it's about learning to build relationships naturally without forcing it. First and foremost, you have to let relationships build naturally. When you meet new people, focus on connection, not transaction. So it should not be, if I meet you, I can only get something from you. Some of you may connect just naturally with a person. When you meet new people, focus on connection. It's about getting to know them. It's about learning about their journey and finding some common ground. You do this naturally. It's not a tit for tat. If I ask you this, they have to ask you that. It's not robotic. And also understand there are sometimes you're going to meet a person and you're just naturally going to vibe with them. There are other times you're going to be like, "Mm, are we vibing?" And then there's sometimes you're going to be like, listen, mm, this. So I need you to be cognizant. I need you to be aware of how this is feeling and flowing. And it's not just about a feeling, but I do want you to also listen to your intuition. Again, it's not about what you can get from them, it's about getting to know them, learning and finding that common ground. So please ask questions. I need you to genuinely be curious. If you have forgotten how to genuinely be curious, then start doing things when you see someone, and I'm not talking about it in a work setting, because some of you believe that you have to try everything only at work. In order for this to start to feel, for some of you, this is going to be awkward. And so if you fall into this, oh, I really don't like this, then you work this out when you see someone on an elevator, when you see someone standing at a grocery store, if you're in line. This is how you start to break out of your shell, and you're doing it where you're not gonna see this. If you're standing in a grocery line and you turn around, my husband, I tell y'all, my husband looks at me and he just laughs because conversations with random strangers. Oh my gosh. What tattoo is that? Can you tell me about your tattoo? Now, when I say this, and I literally had this conversation about 2 weeks ago with someone because it was like, I don't even remember what the tattoo was, but it was, I had never really seen it before. And I was literally genuinely curious, like, some stranger, male. Listen, this was a white man, didn't know him from Adam, standing in the grocery line, and did he not turn and open up and told me everything about his tattoo, y'all? Listen, ask questions, be genuinely curious. And I need you, some of you want to talk a person to life. I would say to death, but I try to be a little bit more positive. Y'all talk people. Listen, ask people. Stop telling everybody about your situation, your circumstance. Ask somebody about themselves. I get people to talk all the time. And why? Because it's never about me, you all. It's never about me. It's about that person that is in front of me. It's about me wanting to know about them. And when you are generally curious about someone, they are more apt and more adapt to find themselves a little bit drawn to you. Why? Because most people just overtalk, and it's about what I can get from you and not about what I can learn from you. I don't know if you caught that, but generally when you are like, if I were to meet a person and I just start talking about me, they are like, this person don't want had nothing to do with me. They really they just talking to talk. But when I meet a person and I can ask them questions and I can learn about them and I'm really focused in on them. That makes them think, oh my gosh, I need to know more about her. She actually is interested in me. She's asking me questions. That's extremely attractive to people, and especially today when everybody is just being shouted out, shouted out, shouted out, shouted out. When you can meet someone and you can listen more than you talk, yeah, that's some secret sauce. I just gave away some secret sauce. Find natural points of connection. Find shared interests, shared career goals. Now, this does not always come up in one conversation. This can come up in multiple conversations. Similar leadership challenges. One thing to remember is you all do not make this awkward. Some of you make conversations awkward and you make people run like, and I hear about it. I hear about these poor conversations. Y'all make people squirm because they just like, oh, you're cringy. Some of you are cringy because you are making it like it's an act. It's robotic. You make it robotic. I need you not to make it robotic. And if you're again generally curious and you listen more than you talk, it can start to flow a little bit natural. Don't make this awkward. And if again, I'm gonna say this again, you don't have to start this at work. You can start this with strangers and then you will become more comfortable. Now, if you're good with conversations and all that, sure, start it at work. But if you're not, and if this is very awkward, maybe you start it with people that you won't have to see again. Don't immediately bombard someone with requests, with favors, with introductions, or dare I say endorsements, because that makes it transactional. And no one wants to feel used. You want people to feel good about interacting with you, not pressured, not trapped, or used. If you learn to read the room, meaning pay attention to people's tones, pay attention to the energy. You come off like this. You're like, hey. And they're like, talking about somebody behind me. Okay. Like, or they're just like, I don't have to go and like, I need you to pay attention to tones, energy, and their openness. You can't force yourself on a person. I need you to understand that. You cannot force yourself on a person. So pay attention, read the room. You'll start to know when it's time to deepen the conversation, to deepen the connection, or when you need to pull back just a little bit and give that space. Some people do need space. Some people are going to think you just want something from them. So you have to be able to show that you're really doing this from a genuine standpoint. Again, if you want to build this leadership network and it's only about you, you're going to miss this whole thing and you're not going to build it. This skill alone, when we're talking about reading the room, will make you stand strong and you'll become that emotionally intelligent leader. When we're talking about the skill of reading the room, there are other practices that you can do. One of the great ones that they say out there is when you're watching a movie, watch it with no words, no sound, and see if you have the essence of what's happening. And if you have the essence of what's happening, you're really developing that reading the room situation. And that's important. It's important to be able to see slight gestures. It's important to see those quick facial muscles and twitches and things of that nature. But also know building trust takes time, you all. It takes time. This is not an overnight. This is not a 1, 2, 3 type of deal. It's about consistent, authentic interaction, not just one big memorable moment. And everyone that you meet is not going to be in your network, and nor do you want everyone in your network, but you do want to start to build this beautiful network. Now, our second area is going to be nurture your network over time. Again, if you want to take a screenshot, please feel free to do that. The second key is relationships need maintenance. Just like plants need water, your network needs regular care. You can't build relationships and then disappear until you need something. Remember, it's not transactional. It's not a network if it's only transactional. So there are a few ways to keep your network strong. You can send a quick message a few times a year. Now, remember also said earlier, don't make this weird. Some of you, it feels as though when you send these few quick messages, it comes off odd. It comes off, I don't know, it just comes off differently. You do need to send a few quick messages, but you need to do them so they're authentic. I'm going to give you a prime example. You're in a work environment. Maybe let's just say you're trying to get into the cyber security section of your company and you've been targeting supervisors from the cyber security section. Now, note I said you've been targeting supervisors, right? So maybe you have reached out to 3 supervisors in this realm and you've talked to them. And this is you sending quick messages a few times a year. You send the same message to the 3 supervisors. Now, this happens. Okay. So I'm not making, I wish I was making this up, but this happens. Because this is what happens. Those 3 supervisors talk to one another, whether you realize they talk to one another or not. And this is the conversation that they're having because you pretty much copied and pasted, and it wasn't even authentic. It came across as rigid. It's summertime. So let's just say it's summertime. Happy first day of summer. Hope you have a great summer. You send that same message to the 3 supervisors. Happy summer. Hope you have a great start to your summer. That's unfortunately, that comes across as a little odd and it comes across and there's no authenticity in it because you sent the same exact message to the same exact cybersecurity supervisors who are having a conversation. Did such and such send you this message? It's so odd. Yeah, what did your message say? Happy summer. And it's the same exact. So it comes across as disingenuous. It's not authentic. You didn't bring up a part of the conversation that you had with them before. There was no communication where this person thought you were genuinely trying to send a quick check-in message. It just doesn't come off that way. So you need to be careful because it feels as though you're targeting. And note, this is not transactional, but you also want it to come across as genuine. I do want you to send a quick message a few times a year, but I want you to make it a genuine message. And I want it to come across as though when this person reads it, they think this message is just for them and not for the other supervisors. Hopefully you get that part. Then celebrate others' achievement. Even if it's a quick congratulatory email, maybe it's a LinkedIn comment, those things go a long way. Offer help when you can. all the time. There are people in your network that can be higher or can be further along. Don't ever think that they don't need help, but maybe that help may look different. And so maybe it's, oh my goodness, I saw this article and I thought about you. So it doesn't have to be, is there anything, because I do get this question all the time. Is there anything that I can do? You give and you give to me and you give to me. Is there anything that I can do for you? And it's awkward sometimes because I'm just like, me giving to you, I'm not necessarily looking back for anything in return. And honestly, sometimes there really isn't anything at that juncture that person can do for me. However, if you shared an article because you heard me talking about something or you know that I like something, that's thoughtful. That's sharing. That's offering help. So think about it in that respect and be consistent. Please don't be clingy. You all do not be clingy. Be consistent, but consistent does not mean being clingy. Do not be clingy in showing that you value the connection. Leaders who rise are the ones who can stay connected in authentic ways, even when they're not actively job hunting or looking for help. Nourishing relationships is leadership. Listen, if you have a team, it is not about you. It is about your team. It is about building up those individuals. It's about nourishing your relationships with those individuals. Leadership, we're talking about building community, supporting others, and being the kind of person people want to support in return. So remember, when we're talking about networking, it isn't just some task to complete. Do not make it a task driven event. And if it is a task driven event, meaning you put it on your calendar, nurture relationships this week, then still take it and make it a genuine, authentic connection, a genuine, authentic action. It's a habit you build. It's a leadership behavior you start to embody. Now, let's go ahead and wrap us all up. We talked about building a supportive network and why it's absolutely critical for your career growth by covering two topics. First, you must build relationships naturally without forcing it. Approach new connections with curiosity, with kindness, and emotional intelligence. And I need you all to learn to read the room. And second, once you've built those relationships, you must nurture and maintain them over time with small, meaningful touch points. And we talked about that, so I'm not going to get into that again. Not just about always needing something. Building a network isn't about climbing a ladder. It's about creating a leadership community that lifts you as you climb. As you move forward in your leadership journey, remember relationships are your greatest leadership asset. Treat them with care, patience, and consistency, and they will open up doors for you that hard work alone could never do. Don't forget to like and subscribe from whatever platform you're from. Normally, I would say join me next week for more incredible insights, but we are going on. I haven't decided yet if it's going to be a summer break, a partial summer break. We will definitely make sure that we are still continuing to put out content. We are just going to figure out what revamping leadership insight is going to look like as we move forward. We'll be back with some form of leadership insight. It just may be more towards the middle or end of the summer, but definitely keep watching, keep subscribing, because y'all know I will drop a leadership moment in a minute. And we're going to try some new things. Definitely keep an eye out. And I want you to know that you deserve nothing but the best. And regardless, it is always going to be my goal to help you move to your next level. Let's take your career to new heights together. I want you to keep building, keep growing, and always keep leading.